This is the Army's latest firepower. The Leopard 2A4 main battle tank can prowl the plains at up to 72 kilometers per hour. This German-made tank, with its special fire control system, can engage moving targets while travelling over rough terrain. The sturdy war machine provides enhanced firepower, protection and mobility. Its purpose on the battlefield: to support land operations such as block force and counter-offensive force missions. Its 120mm caliber main gun packs a lethal punch, as its munition have higher penetration, and it can use more lethal and versatile kinetic energy and multi-purpose ammunitions. The tank's multi-layered armour gives added protection against kinetic projectiles from other tanks and anti-tank weapons. SAF has acquired 66 of these tanks and will be buying 36 more. These refurbished machines will be fitted with the SAF's battlefield management system, which will keep them plugged into the military's information network, which gives them the real-time battlefield picture.
Could you tell us a little bit more about, how these tanks actually pack an additional punch in terms of tactics and strategies in the battlefield?
I think the Leopard MBTs have definitely enhanced the Army's capability during operations, particularly in how we conduct ground assault, simply because this tank offers superior firepower and protection, and also it's extremely fast tank, which makes it even more survivable than our previous platforms. So it is, as a capability in itself, it is extremely formidable maneuver element for the Army. So in how it fits into how the Army is likely to fight in what is considered a third-generation force is that it will enhance the precision maneuver component of the Army's fighting concept. And this, coupled with what the Army considers precision fires as well as precision information, will allow the Army to quickly execute its operations and secure a decisive victory as early as it can.
I see. So in terms of what the previous tank is able to do, and now, especially in terms of searching for the enemy, can you tell us a bit more about that? Because I understand that that's a whole world of difference.
So with the Leopard MBTs, like its peers currently used by other countries, has a completely stabilized gun and also optical sights that allows it to acquire targets in excess of 3 kilometers, both in day and night conditions. So, and because the gun is completely stabilized, the crews can actually acquire targets more quickly, and once the targets has been identified, the crew can also fire more quickly and accurately compared to its predecessor. So in real term, what it means is we can pick out targets quickly and we can shoot faster. So in front of the hatch is an independent commander sight, which our previous tanks are not equipped with. With this sight, the commander and the gunner can actually acquire targets separately. And because of the fire control system that the Leopard has, they can quickly align themselves on the same target and allow the commander to confirm that it's a legitimate target. And thereafter, the tank can fire off and destroy the target if required. The tank actually has 2 pairs of eyes acquiring targets in the same area compared to just 2 eyes in the past.
I see. So in terms of also its capabilities, because there are also several other defense forces that have actually acquired the Leopard tanks, but of course it's nothing compared to actually what the individuals behind the tanks will do with it. So what do you actually hope to, how do you hope to actually push the boundaries with this tank?
I think there's a lot of training to do for the crews to become very proficient with the tank. As you rightly pointed, the tank is only as good as the crew. So the tank offers a huge potential for the unit, for us to fully operationalize its capabilities and make it as effective in the battlefield as possible. I believe the Army is looking towards upgrading some of the systems in the tank so that it can be networked to the larger Army, and so that it can fight as an integrated force with with some of the other maneuver and fire elements. I also believe that part of the upgrading works involves enhancing its protection and its maneuverability. But as you rightly pointed, at the end of the day, it all boils down to the man behind the machine. And it is my hope that in this unit, we will be able to develop the right doctrines, the right procedures, and that will allow us to operate the machines confidently and use it in a way that allows us to dominate the battlefield in the frontal fight.
In training, how has it been so far? Because really, you've only actually received the tank in such a short period of time, and suddenly you're making it out here on an overseas live firing. How has that been in such a tight time?
It has been a big rush. The fact is, the tanks were delivered as early as June, and the men only had a bit less than 2 months with the tanks. So it has been a big challenge for First Company, and full credit goes to the commanders who have been able to encourage the guys and train them to the best of their abilities. It is necessary to come to Exercise Wallaby because shore waterway training area affords the space as well as the terrain for us to conduct realistic training with the tanks. So we have took a decision very early this year that no matter what level of proficiency we will come here and exploit all the opportunities that it affords and train as hard as we can.
So how have the men actually been taking this, especially in preparing for it in a very short period of time?
I think the men have taken it very well. It is not easy to learn how to operate a tank within such a short period of time. And the fact that a lot of the equipment in the tank are actually very heavy makes it a lot more demanding physically. However, I think it is, as you would expect, with any new crew that's playing with a new platform, they are extremely enthusiastic about it, and the positive attitude towards both the training itself and to some extent national service has helped a lot. So I would think that we came here with fairly high morale, and so far they have done very well in training. I'm very happy with that.
Thank you very much, and all the best with the rest of your training.
Thank you.
Tank gunner and full-time national serviceman Private Dominic Tan has been with the Army since January this year. He trained with the Leopard tank teams for just 4 months, and Exercise Wallaby is his first overseas exercise.
I'm right here with our tank gunner, Dominic, who's actually been training with the tank for the last 4 months, with the Army for about 9 months. Can you give us a little bit of a tour of what we're seeing here?
Okay, this is the gunner's primary setting system. It's called the MS. Okay, with the MS, it's incorporated with thermal imager, so you can hunt out for thermal bodies. So it's easier to engage targets, especially when they're undercover. So you can spot them out. Yeah.
Also, you can in any vehicle you sort of can see how many bodies there are out there.
Not that clear, but at least you can hunt them down and engage them because they engage you.
So for night shoots, it's especially useful.
Yes, so be very jerky and stuff. And this has a stabilizing system, and this doesn't. Without one, right, it's very hard to engage your target because you got to lock on and you got to keep our reticle on the target and fire. Yeah.
As a gunner, how useful is this stabilizing system? Because I understand this is one of the key features of this tank.
I think it's one of the most useful because what we see, if it's going to be very jerky, it's going to be quite chaotic, even more chaotic for us, because you won't be able to get focus. Yeah. So with the stabilizing system, right, it's much easier to scan for your targets.
Okay. What do you mean by chaotic? I don't quite understand. Most of our viewers out there have not had the opportunity to actually sit in one of these things. So
okay, first of all, and the tank, right? You get the engine running. The engine itself is really very, very, very loud. Okay, then you have the CVC. Then you got the intercom helmet that we wear, that all 4 of the tank women wear to communicate. But at the same time, we will also hear the commands from our OC and CO, higher commanders. Yeah, and with everyone talking at the same time, it can be quite chaotic.
I see. So the stabilizing factor keeps you focused. But isn't it supposed to be good on the move as well? When the terrain tends to be quite bumpy, isn't it?
Yeah. Can you imagine? Okay, let's say you're firing a rifle but you are jumping up and down. Yeah, that without the stabilizing system, it would probably be there. So this one, it locks you down, so you got firm ground to engage the target.
Okay. Higher hit ratio then. Okay, let's see what else there is. What is that? So many peepholes.
Okay, this is the commander's sighting system.
Okay.
It's called the Perry. One main feature about this that it is independent of the turret, that it can move without just by itself. So when the gunner, when he tries to scan his target, the commander can scan a different sector.
So what is the experience for you like? Maybe you can describe a little bit about where you sit and what was the first experience like when you got into the tank?
The first experience, my first thought was like, it's actually quite spacious, contrary to what I hear from my peers on the older NSMan tank.
Oh, so what did you hear? What were your worries at first when you first tried it out?
They were saying my worries about this tank.
Okay.
I didn't know a lot about tanks because I never really had an interest in tanks. But coming on to the Leopard, I think it's really very interesting about how the whole system functions, about how everything is made to get to this final product. Yeah.
So what was your first reaction when you heard that you were going to be with tanks, be working with tanks?
First I was quite lost because I really didn't know what tanks were about. We just saw them in computer games and just Transformers kind. Yeah, but coming here and looking at how the tank, I think it actually aroused my curiosity about how the weapon system actually works and how the whole tank actually functions. Yeah, I think that it's a very high-tech tank. It's quite user-friendly and yeah, it's a very nice tank, I think.
Okay, just out of curiosity, because most people will be curious about day one. So what was day one like for you?
Day one, we didn't really get to go into the tank. We just saw the tank from outside.
Okay.
And we were just told that we'll be one of the first few to use the Leopard tank. I think it's quite honorable that we are the first few to touch this tank and to actually operate it. Yeah, and I also think that it's a very huge responsibility that me, 19-year-old, that we get to operate such a heavy machine, capable of doing so much damage.
What did your friends say?
They were like, oh, Leopard tank. Oh, Singapore just bought like how many Leopard tanks, right? Yeah. Then like they are quite curious about how inside is whether is it hot, whether there's aircon or not. Yeah, but sad to say there's no aircon.
Can you tell us what does a typical day entail for a gunner?
Okay, I think the day pretty much starts out with us maintaining the tank. And maintenance for this tank is relatively much better compared to the OSM1. Yeah, but the tools for this tank are of course much heavier. Imagine we got all these lock nuts and everything, all the screws for us to tighten every day to check. Then refueling is also part of the daily job, and cleaning is quite chaotic.
Oh my goodness, I've seen this tank moving and what if it's a rainy day? Do you dread rainy days? Because there'll be mud all over the place. How do you clean a thing like that?
In Singapore, especially when it's raining, the mud will get into just everywhere, all the holes, and it'll be quite chaotic getting all the mud out.
How do you get the mud out? Don't you have like a tank shower, you go through like car wash? If only we wish, right?
How nice. But now we just use a water jet.
Use a water jet
to spray all the mud out.
Okay.
And can you imagine let's say for the SARS-21, right? We just pulling through the main gun to clean the inside. It's just a fine piece of rock. Can you imagine pulling a piece of rock through this main gun? Yeah.
You have to
require around like maybe 4 people.
But what about training?
Okay, because operating the tank doesn't just involve me. We require everyone to work together. The gunner, commander, driver and loader. And getting 4 of us to work together to make this whole tank move is really a very big challenge. So training would mostly incorporate crew drills where we get to just work with everyone else.
Working so closely together, does that create a special bond?
I think it will, because I only have been with my crew for less than 2 months, and I think that there will be a lot more suffering for us to go through, and I think that will really pull us together as a crew.
Even though you're far away from home, it's still important to keep connected back home. So it's time for me to take a little break right now, but when we come back, there'll be more from Exercise Wallaby. Stay with us on Point Blank. See you later.